we need to talk about Palafin for a second. This Pokemon has a 650 base stat total, which, if you don't know what that is, if you add up all of these numbers right here, and you tally that into one cohesive total, that's a base stat total, right? 650, that's Palafin. Okay, cool, big number, right? Let's look at some other Pokemon's base stat totals. Let's look at all the pseudo-legendaries, right? These guys are supposed to be the strong Pokemon of the generations, like, end of the Pokedex. These guys have a lot of base stats. These guys are usually seen on competitive teams. These guys are the good Pokemon of the generation, right? 600, 600, 600, 600, 600, all across the board, right? Because that's what the formula is. Every pseudo-legendary, everything at the end of the dex usually has 600 base stat total, and those are the good Pokemon. Because then you have legendaries, and you have the restricted legendaries, too, that are above that, with generally around 660, if you're looking at Zacian Crowned, or not Zacian Crowned, Zacian in its hero mode, and up from there is all the way up to like 720, like Arceus, right? But like 620 is the lowest for a restricted legendary. Restricted legendaries are banned usually in singles competitive play in OU. If you're playing that, usually those guys are called the Ubers, right? If you're playing VGC doubles, the official competitive Pokemon format, those guys are banned until like 3 years till past the game comes out, and then they're all legal at the same time. Palafin is, again, let me remind you, sitting at a 650 base stat total. So this is the perfect midpoint in between the restricted legendaries, the gods of the game, the guys that are so broken that they're banned for a majority of the game's run cycle, and pseudo-legendaries, which are supposed to be the good guys that are on most teams, right? That's crazy, because Generation 9 already has a pseudo-legendary, and it's not Palafin. It's Baxcalibur. This thing is never getting used, ever. Let's talk about competitive for a second. Palafin, right? Singles Pokemon, OU 6v6, player versus player, online Pokemon Showdown, banned. VGC, doubles Pokemon, official competitive format, 4v4, or pick 6, or have 6, bring 4, that's the one. Not used at all. How do you go from banned within a month to not used at all? That's what this video is going to be about. So, singles Pokemon. What is the set that made Palafin broken beyond all comparison, right? Because originally people were running oh my gosh, it's got such a high base attack stat. Let me just put a choice band on it. It gets a new signature priority move that is just Aqua Jet but better in Jet Punch. Because why not? We're already making the most broken Pokemon ever. New priority move. It's stab, it's stronger than Aqua Jet. It's just a good move, right? Very spammable, very splashable. New move in Wave Crash is another big one. That's pretty strong. 120 base power. Think of it Flare Blitz, right? Same move as Flare Blitz, but it's a water type. Alright, put that on the monster that is Palafin. Choice Banded breaks walls, right? That probably does off the dome head calc 43 to Toxapex, I think. No. Right? Easily 43. You get some hazards up, you throw a Goldengo on the team so that they can't remove the hazards, boom. Palafin's already breaking the monster of OU that is Toxapex. That's not the set that they got banned. The set that got Palafin banned is actually a setup Palafin. Because yeah, this Pokemon's strong as heck already, might as well buff its attack stat even more with a bulk up set. And oh no, right? Toxapex can beat that 1v1 because it has Haze, it has Toxic, it has all these moves that it can cripple a setup set that wants to sit in the field for a million turns. No, it can't. It has Taunt. So you can taunt anything slower than Palafin, which is like half the game because it's fast for some reason too. And then bulk up on them. Oh, but just chip it away, right? That's the easiest way to beat bulk up sets. Think Annihilate. Annihilate's huge right now because it's bulking up. Well, just like Annihilate, the more you hit Palafin, the more it doesn't really matter because this thing also gets Drain Punch. And with the new item Protective Pads, no. What is it called? Protective Glove, no. Punching Glove, no. Punching Bag, no. I think it actually was Protective Glove. No. Punching Glove. Never second guess yourself. Okay. Yeah, protective gloves, so you don't take Rocky Helmet damage, you don't take Iron Barbs damage, you don't take Rough Skin damage from Garchomp, because that was a big thing. Rough Skin, Rocky Helmet, Garchomp. Everyone knows that combo. That's a classic. Palafin doesn't care. Oh, also, guess what? Guess what Punching Glove boosts the base power of? Punching moves. Wow, go figure, right? What does Palafin run on the set that got it banned? Bulk Up. That's not a punching move, but it helps the punching moves get stronger. Taunt. Same thing as Bulk Up. Oh, and 2 punching moves. Bulk Up, Taunt, Jet Punch, Drain Punch. Triple Ubers. This thing is crazy, right? And it got banned. OU 6v6 singles, you cannot use Palafin anymore. But so, earlier I said this thing's not getting any usage in VGC. Primarily, I'm a VGC player, right? I've dabbled in singles over the years, and I'd say I'm pretty good at it. VGC, different story. Not really won much. 49th Milwaukee. Humble brag. Not really, went 6-3. Okay, why is it not getting usage? If it's broken in singles, shouldn't it also be broken in doubles? Not necessarily. If you look at stuff like Incineroar over the ages, things not used in singles at all in the slightest, right? Maybe an NU it can parting shot around, or like Flare Blitz, I guess, right? But like that's not, I don't know, it's just a different environment. But that said, doubles is not like that much of a different environment for us. For a setup sweeper, because Annihilate with Bulk Up is also dominating the format right now. And 2, doubles loves really strong Pokemon. Doubles loves priority moves right now, especially because of Annihilate running around with Final Gambit. I don't really know why no one's using Palafin, because all signs point to it being a good Pokemon. Now, the one thing that we haven't talked about in this video is Palafin's biggest weakness, right? 0 to Hero only activates upon switching the Pokemon out of battle. You have to start with base Finizen. I keep calling it Finizen. It's actually Palafin. They're both Palafin, but it looks like Finizen. Cut me some slack. And that Pokemon sucks. Let's be real, right? Let's see the attack stat on that guy. 70. Bruh. 100 speed's fine, because you could still capitalize on Flip Turn, which, by the way, the only weakness the Pokemon had was, oh no, it needs to switch out, and then they gave it a momentum move that's Stab. Why not? Alright. We're already making a broken Pokemon. So with its switching boon eliminated because of Flip Turn, and also the speed to do that pretty successfully, because a lot of the Pokemon in the format right now for doubles are like base 90 and slower, doesn't that mean this Pokemon's good? Well, the reality is, and the reason I'm making this video is because people are starting to figure out that Palafin's good. Like, really good. If you put this thing on a rain team with Choice Band on it, because why not? It makes the base 70 attack Palafin baby form Flip Turn do a little bit more damage. But if you're in hero mode, if you look like All Might, Choice Band, Wave Crash, in Rain, because Pelipper's always a good Pokemon in VGC. Speaking of, dude got Helping Hand this generation. Let's look at some damage calcs on that. What can you one-hit KO with a Wave Crash? Let's look at all of the dragons that you can do with that. Excuse me? Let's look at all the grass types you could do with that. Meowscarada is actually like one of the top most used Pokemon in VGC right now. So, paired with a Pelipper, which is like the perfect support for Palafin, why? What is the one mystery? What's the one thing holding Palafin back from VGC right now? Because by all means, it should be dominating exactly the same way as it does in singles, right? Support Pokemon is the key. I'll just drop it on you like that. Indeedee right now is the only real terrain setter, and historically out of Pokemon since Generation 7. I'm saying Generation 7, not 6, because I know the terrains were introduced in Generation 6, but don't tell me that because there were no setters. Since Generation 7, terrains have kind of run the show. In the format that is legal right now for VGC, there are 2 terrain setters I'm not counting Arboliva because it doesn't set it up on switching. There's 2 terrain centers, Indeedee female, and Pincurchin. Do you really want to run Pincurchin? Really?
No.
Pincurchin? Interesting. But so basically that means there's only 1 terrain running around, and it's psychic terrain. So like in maybe about let's say 50% of your games, you're going to be fighting in psychic terrain. So maybe Palafin's Jet Punch isn't as spammable. Wave Crash still is. So again, I don't really get it. But let me get back to the point of the video, which is Palafin stock in VGC is at an all-time low. I'm here to, like, if you want to get good at VGC, if you want to become 49th in Milwaukee, like myself, buy the dip. Buy Palafin stock. Palafin stock to the moon, dude. I'm telling y'all, it's gonna take off. Palafin at San Diego Regionals, the first event in North America. Keep an eye out. If a top cut Palafin happens, don't say I didn't tell you. Thank you for watching the video. If you've liked this at any point, please consider subscribing. Please like the video. I've not done this in a little while, but I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. So if you want more, I'm making more. Come get more. Hey.